Hello, everyone, and welcome back to S Rank, the only home of video games, and to Gone Video Game Fishin', a now monthly stream series I am doing in which I am reviewing every single fishing video game based on four metrics: its environment, its music and sound, its fish variety, and the fishing feel, the controls. We've done a total of 20 games so far, 4 games per kind of stream, this being the 6th stream. We're going to do 21 through 24 now, I guess. Rounding out at the top of the list here is a pair of titles tied, because I kind of score each of those 4 metrics, 1 through 5. 2 titles are tied at the top: an NES game called The Blue Marlin, and a PlayStation 2 and GameCube game called Top Angler Real Bass Fishing. Both of those games I feel like are excellent in what they're trying to do. We're playing 4 new games today, each once again on different consoles, different platforms. And the idea generally going forward is to keep it at that pace, not doing 2 PS1 games, you know what I mean, in a thing, or 2 Wii games or anything like that. Our 4 titles are today: a Super Nintendo game called Bassin's Black Bass with Hank Parker, which is actually the 6th Black Bass game. We did Super Black Bass last time. This is actually Super Black Bass 2 in Japan. It just got a licensing name when they brought it over here. Zebco Fishing for the Game Boy Color. This game uses the Nintendo developed at some point in the Game Boy Color's short lifetime versions of the cartridge that had a rumble motor in it. They were a little bit taller, a little bit thicker towards the top, and this was one such game. I'll see if it will work for this. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against it if I can't get it to work. Zebco being an actual fishing tackle equipment company. So that's a branding thing there. Developed by Vicarious Visions, which is actually interesting to me. And then an EA developed and published game called Championship Bass on PlayStation. We're playing the PS1 version of that. And then we're back to the Wii. We'll see how this works entirely with, I think this might be the first fishing video game released on the Wii, Hooked Real Motion Fishing. This either came out just before or just after the previous Wii title we did, which was called Fishing Master, if I remember correctly, which had a middling score. So I'm curious to see if this title will be better than this, because this is a very, I feel like, average score there. There's a letter grade for each of the kind of totals there. I did say last time at some point I was going to have this information be like maybe something that pops up there or something like that, separate from just having it kind of just placed somewhere on the list. But yeah, generally speaking, only 2 games at the A tier. You can get an S, which is hard. It's either perfect in the scores or just one off. So these didn't make it. We have 1 E. This was actually a part of the last stream that I did there. Naksigwang. I probably am butchering that pronunciation. It's Korean. This is a Korean DOS game, and I could just not get it to really, really work out all that well. It was an interesting experiment, and it has multiple sequels, and we'll be playing all of those sequels at some point. I believe maybe outing number 8 or so, 8 or 9 might have Naksigwang 2 on it. I want to space out the if I can recognize that there's like a series going on, I'll try to keep them in general order. I feel like Fisherman's Challenge was actually a part of another Konami fishing series, and I didn't realize that at the time. This might be like the 3rd or 4th entry. Another excellent title, although I did give it a B. I want to keep some of these smaller series kind of spaced out a bit. Black Bass, there's so many of them. We're doing them one a stream until they're all done. Real Fishing, one every other, that type of thing. So, our 4... And I'm still sick, by the way. I was sick yesterday on the trophy hunting stream, and I'm sick still with a cold. It shouldn't be... I probably sound a little bit different. My doorbell just rang. Oh, Amazon. I'll leave it there. It's just a USB extension cable. I rarely hear my doorbell ring, and it always is like a what's going on kind of weird shock. Forgot what I was gonna say here. But yeah, 20 titles. We're gonna add four more onto the list. I'll quickly reiterate what each of these four kind of mean. Environment is like not just graphics, but generally speaking, it is the look and kind of ambiance of the game's environments. And this is all four of these are about just the fishing. I don't really care about like your tournament mode or your legacy career modes or anything like that. This isn't a full video game review. I'm reviewing the act of fishing in your game, in these games. It's all about the fishing. Um, so, in the case of Fisherman's Challenge, for instance, there was somewhat of an extensive, I guess, story mode, and I would love to go through that at some point. There's a few of these games where I definitely want to play more of on their own. I actually bought off of eBay. I still have a couple more coming as well. I do have Real Fishing's 2 and 3. These are mirrored in the camera here, but they're nice. They're nice copies. I have the first game coming in the mail as well. So there are some of these that I'm actually like, I liked this. I want to keep playing this. So I want to have them nice copies to collect. But yes, just the act of fishing in the game, ignoring the entire overall package there. So environment is like that ambience. It is the graphics of the environment that you are fishing in. Pretty straightforward. All this stuff is relative to the hardware that they're on. Obviously, I'm not going like we have an NES game and a PS2 game. They both have the same score because it's relative to what other games on that platform are capable of. We've seen bad fishing environments on the NES. They are sitting down here. The Black Bass USA has the only one in this category. And I color coded this. I don't think these were color coded last time, but they're color coded now. Music and sound, very simple. The sound effects, are they trying? We've had some games that don't have a reeling sound, and I find that strange. Or, the sound effects themselves pretty straightforward, but the music, before and after you actually strike or hook a fish, what does that sound like? What's the music like? I've noticed that there's like a few small categories of fishing music. There's either extremely calm and relaxing, like the Real Fishing series, which I actually like a lot the most. Then there is the like rock and roll style, hell yeah, you're doing it. And then there's like a version of that is southern banjo twang version of that. It's all interesting, but that's what music and sound is about, ranking that stuff. Fish variety. Besides just the variety of fish themselves, how many different ways can you catch a fish? How many different lure, bait, line options, rod options, that type of stuff? And more importantly, if you have all those options, great, but does that matter? You know what I mean? Are there fish that are like, I don't want, like, in order to catch this fish, you're going to need something that sinks down to the bottom. You're not going to want something that's floating towards the top, that type of stuff. And that's all, again, relative to the platform. Blue Marlin doesn't have a whole lot going on, but there was some things in there that was, okay, you're dragging a line or you're not, that type of stuff. Fishing feelers controls. The only 5 was Fisherman's Challenge because it was very unique. You were using both analog sticks for it. It was a little bizarre. It wasn't the normal just like hold back and then It was strange. But in a way that I feel like really worked. But that's very, very simple. Very, very simple. Action Bass had a 1 in that category because it was terrible. Very, very terrible. I just did not understand. This game was such a bare bones package. Bare bones package. And even in the actual act of fishing itself, it showed. It showed. I will, because I'm sick and my throat acts up sometimes when I'm talking a lot here, I will be taking short breaks on camera to do something like this. If you see me lean out of frame, there's a cutoff, right? Or mute the mic. It's because I need to blow my nose, which actually I'm probably going to do right now. I don't know. You're just going to have to watch me do it. Apologies. I'm used to having a narrower frame. When I tried to just disable the camera, I forgot about the reflection, because those are separate instances. Because I have all of these type stuff. We'll see all of the different windows. They are all hotkeyed so that two things at once can activate and deactivate. Okay. All that being said, let's hop into our first game. And I like to go through these titles chronologically. So our 4 games per stream will be done in the release order. I have to wait for my controller to reconnect. I am using the 8BitDo N64 controller. I forget what they call it. 3D? Is it just 8BitDo 3D? And it likes to disconnect. Although when we get to PlayStation games, I will swap over to a DualSense. God damn, why isn't it connecting? This is embarrassing. It's just flashing on the thing. How do I... There we go. Oh, why is it... Oh, bizarre. Sorry, all this is being cut in here. I guess I'll just use... the DualSense. I'm just gonna have to, if that controller's gonna be funky. Let's see. Let me double check to make sure it is the correct controller. Good. Okay. This is developed by Hotbee. Like all of the Black Bass games. It's a logo I love. I will eventually get a hat with that on. Welcome to the exciting world of bass fishing. Prepare to match wits with the tenacious and elusive black bass. It'd be a very difficult, statue to keep upright. Seek out bass while competing against other anglers. Because it's basically just the jaw that's making contact with the base. Use your finesse and skill to become the world champion. Gain an appreciation for what it takes to become a pro basser. A long intro here. So basically, they just took out the word super and put Bassins in the top there. Because this is just like the Super Black Bass logo. Why is my I think this controller finally connected. Give it a bit. I like to sit here on the title, get the music in. Okay. Choose one. I guess registration. Choose one. Input your name. My name is Ethan. I thought there were 3 options there for a second. I like that there's no face. Input more detail? Sure. Oh, I'm right-handed. Oh, okay. We'll go with the heart glasses. Full beard. Oh, okay. So you do have skin tones. I appreciate that. I feel like this look here is a very specific type of person. You know what I mean? That would be out doing this stuff and wearing these glasses. Like, the colors of the hat there. I'm going with that. And I'm a giant standing... Oh, okay. Local amateur tournament at Green Valley. Okay. Damn, we got an MC and everything. Local amateur tournament at beautiful Green Valley Lake. 50 entries. 50 people? That's a lot. I don't think this is local if there's 50 people joining. Only the top 3 go to the next event. Good luck to all of you. Here are the... Okay, top 3 out of 50 people, that is such a narrow, like, margin there. I would say top 10 get in, you know what I mean? That still feels like a struggle, because there's 50 people, right? Probably what's going to happen is, like, 30 of these people are going to catch maybe 1 fish, and they're going to be small. So, like, you catch a couple fish, and you're probably well within the top 20. Yes, please review the rules. Here are the tournament rules. Yep, it's one of these things. Yep. Okay. Okay, only 5. They did this in the last one. Or if you're late a little bit, we're gonna take points off. I don't know, I'm not really that into, like, that kind of simulation of, like, I gotta get the fuck back there. You know what I mean? I went all the way out in the boonies to catch these fish, and now I gotta drive all the way back. 20 minutes late and you're disqualified. I'm sure the time is ticking relatively quickly, but still. The hell? Are you in this tournament? Hi, I'm John, an expert fisherman. Okay. Would you like my assistance? Take a guy? Yeah, actually. The first game didn't have something like this, so this would be useful. You should win with my advice. Sure. Let's start the tournament. Oh, damn, he's got a gun. You know what that means. Nice, this game just like the last one. And there was another Super Nintendo game that did this as well. Where in the bottom right corner of the screen is a depth gauge there. It's trying to sonar the bottom. And on actual hardware, I'm emulating this, obviously. On actual hardware, it's just dithering. It's on, off, on, off, on, off to make the effect that they're going for. Even though there are transparencies on Super Nintendo, it's trying to make a very specific look. It's not perfect in the emulator, and then on top of that, it is not being captured correctly. So you see it like flashing irregularly like that. Just imagine at 60 hertz, odd frames it's on, off frames it's off, or even frames it's off. Just imagine it smooth like that, because obviously it's just being butchered. Lake abounds with plant life. Head for the reeds or the lily pads. Okay, no music here. Oh, we have a nice reflection of the sky. It was similar to the last one. Good lily pads. Nice, you slow down when you're driving over the plants. I love that. Or reeds. Well, okay, we'll go here. We'll see. Can I... Okay. What does Y do? Y also drives. B reverses. X does nothing. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. I think I need to redo my controls. Yeah. Okay, yep. I had the X button not set on this. Cast. I doubt there are any fish here. You really want to cast here? Well, no, I guess not. Man, you said go to the lily pads. Where I am. Okay, well, you also said the reeds. Okay. Bass like to feed in the reeds. The bass must be hiding here. Look out for hazards when you cast. Okay. Okay, so we have options here, up and down. L and R don't do anything. Yeah, because the other one was more of a, like, this is a little bit top-down. Was a little bit, I guess for the sake of my hand, tilted back. It was doing mode 7 stuff. Oh, okay. This is familiar, though. We have a reeling sound. I didn't check to see what would be on it's on my hook, lure-wise. Got a spinner of some sort. I like the sound. He is making the sound. Oh, I see it says spinner at the bottom right. Okay. Interesting. This must be the edge. Not seeing any fish around. I feel like that sound effect for that bird or whatever, just the howl of the wind maybe, was used in the previous one. Haha, you'll never get one doing that. The vibrating blades lure the fish. Reel in the line little by little. I like that he's doing that. I actually like that this game is giving you a guide to actually tell you what to do. There's obviously, like, manuals, right? But even then, throughout this series, a lot of that is still trial and error. Okay, homie said there would be fish here. I see no movement. Already been 22 minutes. A little shorter distance there. Yeah, so previous games in the series have visually represented actual fish around. It's not like a random encounter, like a RPG or whatever. But some games do that. Okay, all the way out. Oh, oh. Yep, one of them's up top. Saw movement at the top. Weird that A and Y are both real. There doesn't seem to be a, Oh, pause. Now I hear the boat. We didn't have the boat in the left channel until I paused and unpaused. Odd. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a quick reel in. It's a little disappointing. Yeah, there's one just right up there. I wonder how representative the overall map is to this view here, because it's always kind of a little nebulous. X doesn't... Oh. Now B pulls it in? Okay. Let's move a little bit. Fast. He said I'm wise. So this is golf style. You press the button to begin. The meter, you press it again to stop. Come on, dude. Definitely got closer. I see A and B together. Quick reel. I didn't do it all the way. They're somewhat simulating slackline and yanking, you know, just the line itself and then having to reel a bit. Which they might have done that in the last one too, to be fair. Okay, all the way this time. See, I wonder if swapping lures would be a good idea. But to be fair, this is the one I would have used. Yeah. Let's see. X lure. What are our options here? The jig and pork bait is best in the reeds. Oh, okay. Also, the spinner bait works well. Okay. Right. Oh. Okay. Okay. We'll see if this is good or if natural colors. Maybe something that looks more like it's caught in, you know, the... It's not seaweed, but you know what I mean. Just the kelp, natural foliage. Okay. Try all the way this way. Aww. Okay. Oh, okay, so you're penalized with time. Okay. I held B at John there's a suggestion before I hit the water. The fish are like all the way in the back. Or at least the one fish is. Just sitting and waiting. Sitting and waiting. Alright, let's do natural colors. Yep. I like that they actually represent the color change. It's difficult because it's so far at the edge there. I'm gonna move a bit. You're not like you don't have a lot of room to play with. You know what I mean? Like you're not passing the fish. You're still, even though I moved up, I don't think it really matters. I think it's just you're in this zone. This is what this zone looks like. I think the character at the bottom looks nice. L and R don't seem to do anything. It is weird that hearing the sound of the motor now. Y? Okay, hold on. Y was also that version of A, so I wonder... C left should be Y. Alright. I'm gonna give this game a little bit longer. Okay, select is actually doing stuff now. Yeah, if a fish was out where I am right now, then we have the ability to pass by it. You have more time to kind of experiment. I'm in the weeds, so I can't yank it all the way back. No, I can. "64 feet is a good toss." Unpausing makes the, Alright, we're going somewhere else. We're going somewhere else. Maybe we can find an area that has, more fish. Let's try... right here. Hey, a few fish. Are there any down here? Okay. Ah, it did the thing again. Yeah. That's okay, we're not going the full, Whoa. Oh, I accidentally quick-reeled. Okay, let's see. So yeah, again, the problem is that, the fish only exist on the upper bounds of the entire area. Oh, oh, there we go. No music. Getting caught in the reeds. Like it just says man at the bottom. Fish and man. Come on. I think the tension there is in my favor. Obviously, you don't want to keep pulling the entire time. You don't want to have too much tension on the line and have it snap. No, we're good. We're good. Almost there. Almost there. Come on, come on. Oh, it's fighting. It's fighting. Come on. There we go. Largemouth bass, approximate weight 2 pounds. Or 2 obs. This fish is ranked #1 right now. Wow. Alright. Got your first fish. Got a bass on your first try. Fuck yeah. Oh, I think they took a picture. Drop that one in the live well. Yes, sir. Alright, that has been about 30 minutes on this first game, so I think we are good to move on. I feel like I've seen as much as I need to, really. Hello in chat, how's it going? So, yes. Oh, B also. That's weird. Let me just see if there's a way to quickly just end the day. What does quit do? Ready to quit? Yeah. Turn off the unit with a... Oh. They meant, like, are you ready to stop playing? Okay, whatever. Put that away. Cool. That was, Bassin's Black Bass with Hank Parker, a.k.a., Super Black Bass 2, as it is known in Japan. Alright, let's move this game on over and give it some scores. Put it right there for now. Oh. Right, I just need the name. What's the name for this information? Here. Okay. All right. Yeah, so very, very similar to Super Black Bass. I feel like it's because there was that guide option that they said right at the beginning. That's nice. That's not exactly something that's gonna affect the scoring much, really, because again, all that stuff is stuff you would read in the manual. They're just as an actual guide in the game telling you things. As far as the environment goes, it's very stock and standard. I would almost say parts of it are nicer than Super Black Bass, and what was the other Super Nintendo one? TNN Bass Tournament of Champions. Both of those titles were doing Mode 7 stuff on the Super Nintendo, where the entire map of the pond, not the actual driving around map, but like when you're fishing, that entire like a screen, so to speak, would get distorted and flattened and stretched and whatnot to add the perspective of your view as you're casting over. This game doesn't do that. This is purely top down. On the one hand, though, what this also does is you can tell like your dude stays at the bottom of the screen, regardless of how far up you're pulling. You've cast a line, which is something we saw in Trophy Bass on Windows 95. There, so that's a nice touch. Going back and forth, I did like in the previous Super Nintendo's titles that we've done so far, being able to like kind of shift your view with L and R made for a nice touch for environment. So this one feels pretty stock and standard. I gave TNN a 4 for environment, and I gave Super Black Bass a 3. I feel like I'm kind of feeling similar with 3 there. Honestly, it is basic. I could have seen much more ambience being represented there. You're kind of driving around the map, and when you stop at an area, there's clearly just zones on the map where when you go to cast within that zone, it just brings up one fishing area. You know what I mean? Moving around on the map a little bit doesn't really seem to affect where you're actually casting from if you're just moving a little bit there. So, maybe a little bit of that would have been neat to notice. At times, it kind of looked like there was just simply one background layer for the pond, and then the top layer with, the fish sprite being in between. I feel like we noticed more layers going on in previous titles. So, yeah, environment, I'll give that a 3 for now. Music and sound. Just like Super Black Bass, a little bit disappointing. No real music playing. It is on the sound of the pond itself, which is what it's focusing on. Okay, but even when you hook a fish, there really isn't any like huh, kind of like sound effect to be like, whoa, you got something. Let alone any music to back that up. So that was disappointing. But there was a reeling sound, which is not a guarantee. Those sound effects all seemed fine. They seemed fine. I don't know. At this point, I'm almost kind of disappointed. I feel like even just giving it a 3 would be a little bit too high. So I'll give music and sound a 2. Fish variety, we only experienced just catching one fish there. But I get the impression, based off how it presented itself, saying, hey, you can catch fish that aren't bass and they don't count. We are really only talking about bass. It's more of just like a bass and then something else, right? The other category, whatever it would be, even if they have trash as a thing, it still counts as just the binary bass or not, right? And you have a bunch. You start off with what was that, 8 or 10? I think it was maybe 8. Lure options, and you can have them in 2 different colors, bright colors that stand out, or the natural ones. And there was clearly options to expand on that. So I would say that for the Super Nintendo, if this was on the NES, I would say, wow, that's really good. For Super Nintendo, it feels about average. I could see a heck of a lot more. Actually, to be perfect. But I could also see a lot less. Forget that Control D in Excel is like duplicate the cell above you. I just want to like remove that border. Now, fishing feel, this is controls. A little bit more to it. At least what's being visually represented. A little bit more to it than the other Super Nintendo titles we've done so far. The fact that when you're going to cast your D-pad direction, yes, left and right, okay. But you can see holding up, which is your rod down, right? More of a, not an underhand, but a kind of short stop cast. You can see on the meter where it's like, cool, this is the maximum you'll be casting to. Or holding up is also doing that as well. That isn't exactly what you see all the time, so I give that a little bit, just a tiny bit above what we've had before. Obviously, you're kind of just feathering, reeling in, and you're kind of jerking it left or right, or up and down if you want to kind of just yank it a bit. And then it does have the thing of actually you're reeling in after you yank in without reeling. It is calculating that there is slack of some sort, and so your first few reels aren't giving you any motion. Okay. I don't know if that's enough to really bring it out of like the 3 territory into 4 though. I would have to see, I don't know, maybe more of a visual representation of that stuff. It feels very, very, very standard in a way that isn't exciting. It was nice to see the additions, but of that kind of meter stopping, but that's nothing crazy. You know what I mean? So 11, which gives us the grade of C. Okay, which is actually the exact same score that Super Black Bass had. So the previous Super Nintendo title by Hot B there. Okay. Cool. That is 1 game down. Delete that, or is it over here I'm deleting? Oh. Next, we're moving on to the Game Boy Color. Let me get that going here. And I might need to redo some controls. Yep, hear that. I'll have it be popped up on screen in a moment. Yes, I like having all the reflection stuff. I think it's nice. Okay. All right, once this controller disconnects and we move away from the core, then the control preset options I have, or the control options I have get reset. I think I am good now. There we go. This is Zebco Fishing by Vicarious Visions. Now they got recently, within the past like 5 years, molded into Blizzard. They were an Activision studio that I remember they did the Crash Bandicoot remake trilogy, and then they did the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake duology, and then they basically were starting to help Blizzard do the Diablo 2 remake, and then just got absorbed into Blizzard. So Vicarious Visions no longer exists. So yeah, like I said before, this was a Game Boy title, or Game Boy Color title, that was a Rumble Pack cartridge. So the top of the cartridge was a little bit bigger. There was a battery that you put in it, and there was a motor to rumble. I'm not sure if it'll be represented here in emulation. I'm not going to hold it against it if it doesn't, but we'll see. This is, I think this might be our first handheld title that isn't a Super Black Bass property. Okay. Lake select here. Drake Lake, Chestnut Lake. Let's do Chestnut Lake.
What a day for fishing.
Audio here. On Game Boy Color? Whoa. Okay. Really zooming. Let's see. What does start do? Select lure. Okay. Jig and pig or jig and pork? Yeah, now we've cycled back around. Go with this one here. Rumble. Yeah, I don't know if this would make a...
You could do better than that.
Oh, did I just hit end?
Zebco Fishing. Chestnut Lake.
Okay.
What a day for fishing.
Right. Okay. Hit end game. Okay, so this is just very weird here for the driving. It's very smooth, much smoother than the Super Nintendo game we were just playing. It's not driving controls. I press up, I move up. Right? No matter, it's like relative to the screen. Up is up, regardless of which direction your boat is. Okay, so B is cast. Oh. Okay, let's, A is to actually... Oh, it's just on this one screen. Interesting. Okay, B is to, like, yank it. God, this is so weird. I'm trying to drive this like an actual boat. B is to yank it, A is to reel it. You put the reticle out when you're, with B, and then A to actually... See, when it bobs down like that, is that just a nibble? Huh. Oh, is the... I'm looking at the bottom of the screen there. And the second box on the right there, is that like the depth? Because as I... Or is that... That's weird. Oh, it said bite.
Reel him in.
Okay.
Your line's about to break. There goes another lure.
Damn. So the rumble isn't working. I think that is the idea, is they want you to have the rumble be the thing that lets you know that when to cast. But if for whatever reason you don't have a battery in the thing, it'll say in the bottom right corner, right now it says fish, it'll say bite when there's a bite. Again, so weird to just drive like this. Feel like a maniac. The previous game that we did today alone was so like slow with the boat, so like really made you feel like you could just slowly approach. Looking to see if there's any more dense lily pad areas. Yeah, over here maybe. All right.
Reel him in.
Okay, line tension.
Darn, the line broke.
So that's strange. So usually in games, you know, you have something on the line, and you're reeling it in, and as they're fighting against you and you're fighting against it, your line tension is happening and it can snap, right? So when it gets close, you know, some games will like make an audio cue. This game isn't. It just has that meter in the bottom right. If you lay off and just let the fish move on away from you, your line tension's going away, and then you can begin again. You're playing with the fish, you're allowing it to tire itself out a little bit, you know. And yeah, would that be represented by the rumble? You know what I mean? Let's throw it far from it. Like, very quickly it goes to bite. But I press B right away. And it does not change. If I ever use one of those Wii fishing rods or something, I had some plastic shell set for the Wii at some point, but very quickly I was like, no, this is stupid. This doesn't actually like change anything. It's different than like the Dreamcast fishing controller where it was an actual thing with a, you know, like that's different. For the Wii, it was just like plastic grips to stick the Wii remote in. Wasn't quite the same.
Reel him in.
Okay, I'm reeling. Okay, B is okay.
Your line's about to break. Darn, the line broke.
Weird. Yeah, there was controllers for so many different consoles, as well as obviously PC. PS1 had one as well. I'm not engaging in any peripherals for the sake of the science on this. I might at some point do a special episode that is, I have the PS1 controller. Let's go through quickly the games that use it, and maybe I update some scores. You know, like obviously Sega Bass Fishing, very famous for using the fishing controller, and then you then took that fishing controller because there was some sort of actuator in there to notice when you did this, kind of like, you know, the Wii remote. That you then took it and you played Soul Calibur with the fishing controller. Be like, look, I'm swinging a sword. Not really, but fun nonetheless. Like, I guarantee, because there's, like, MMOs like Fishing Planet and whatnot out there, that there are a very niche hardware set of, just like how there are flight sticks you can buy, or, like, $200-$300 wheel and pedal sets. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a fishing rod, something like out there, some sort of universal. Okay, what does select do here? Nothing. Start. All right. Yes, I have this open. Yeah, I mean, the only Rumble option really just seems to be if you're using the Game Boy Player, which is the GameCube thing. This isn't that. And yeah, there doesn't seem to be like they emulate the solar sensor. So if you're playing those two Bach tie games in the GBA, might want a different lure. Let's go with this. They'll emulate the solar sensor, but I'm sure I'm not doing something. Okay, make this quick. Oh, it was a shoe. That's why. The guy laughed at me. Yeah, that is depth to the left of the word fish there and bite. As I just sit here and it sinks down. I press B to yank. We go up a little notch.
Reel him in.
Another boot.
Oh, he got away.
What? That's a great screen, though. It's annoying. I'm still sick. Couldn't tell. Mm, not quite. It's weird. Like, it's hard for me to tell. Maybe it's because I don't have the freaking rumble thing working. When a bite is an actual bite. Because my only interactions here are A and B. A is reel. B is yank. Cranking and yanking. Can't go too low with this. Control pad doesn't do anything.
Reel him in.
Oh, I think it was a boot. That's why. Yeah, this is also just so weird to drive around like this. Alright, let's go back to the other spot with, yeah, up here. It is kind of nice to see, a game just have you fish on the map you're actually on. It's a little bit more honest, if that makes sense.
Reel him in. Not bad. Let's
Okay.
try again.
That was very fast. It didn't really read the name of that fish, so I don't know what it was, but maybe I pressed a button. If you try to cast on your boat, it makes that awful sound.
Reel him in. Not bad. Let's try again.
A walleye, okay. I thought it said yellow last time. Yeah, so the rumble would really help because right now I'm staring at the bottom right corner of the screen for the word bite to appear. I also like, too, that your momentum is carried. So, like, I'm moving here and I'm going to press B to pause to hook. And if I press B again, it just continues with the momentum. It's weird.
You can
Time's
do
up.
better than that.
What? Oh, it is still about catching bass, huh? Alright, give me a second here. Okay.
Zebco Fishing.
What is blackjack bass? Stick to the
That's
same
lovely.
link.
Looks cloudy. Let's hope it doesn't rain.
I don't know what lure I have. Let's see if we get something. Okay. Yeah, I'm on the same one. Oh, it's interesting it remembers. I imagine you can't hook something too close to the boat, but sometimes it really did feel like good.
Reel him in.
Oh,
Not bad. Let's try again.
crappy. Okay. Come on.
Reel him in.
Oh,
Oh, he got away.
it's weird. I'm not a big fan of. So earlier in that last game, I talked about how like some games will visually represent the fish. Like the fish is here. Like you need to get that fish's attention in order for it to, bite. And then some other ones will treat it more of just like a random encounter in a JRPG. And this is definitely that. This is definitely that like random encounter. And it feels like I can tell that it really is just like rolling behind the scenes. Every set interval. And sometimes it feels like almost blatantly like obvious that it's not actually like I feels like I could just like, yeah, I'll just cast here. Right next to the boat. And I could just jam on the buttons and like, would it work?
Reel him in. That's a
Yeah.
whopper.
Like, it didn't feel like I was fishing there. It felt like I just, like, rolled a dice. But, on the flip side, I don't mind the random encounter aspect when it is more of just like you're a guy at a pond and you fished out. Like that's what the real fishing games have done. Even though
Reel him
they
in.
do
What a fish.
I'm barely trying here. They do represent the fish to a degree physically, and there are areas where it's like, hey, cast there, right? But there's a calming nature to that style of like, because in real life, unless you're on the boat and you're going out and you got your depth gauge and you got all your shit, if you're not one of those people and you are just like sitting on a pier or sitting on the shore, or you are on a boat, but like we put the boat here and we're sitting here and you just cast out the line and you're waiting, that's a different experience than like there's a fish up there, I need to get that fish's attention. That's different, right? So when you can't see the fish in games like this, I want it to feel more of it doesn't need to feel relaxing, but just the sense of like, I am out here and I'm waiting, I'm being patient, but maybe not in a way that is like, am I doing this right? It's a tough balance to get. I don't think we've quite seen it in the games we've played so far. But this is a bit too like obvious that like there's no mystery here. I mean, come on, that was on the side of the boat. It was like, reel it in. Like, as soon as it turns green. But at the same time, yeah, I have done this in the past.
What a fish.
Or I just like drop the line. I just spat on my mic. Drop the line right in the water, right next to the boat. And something bites. And you just reel it in. Like, I've done that, obviously. It's possible, depending on where you are. But it doesn't feel like these are smart creatures. They're not smart creatures. They're fish. But still, it doesn't feel like there's a... It feels a little bit too fake.
What a fish. Hit or hold.
Oh, hit. Oh, right. This is supposed to be blackjack. Oh, so it's to get to 21 pounds. That's weird. I feel like I've seen all I need to see. I should get myself a copy of this game so I could feel what the rumble is like, but that's not going to change anything that we have going on here. In fact, I can close Retro completely. Okay. Let's reel it in and give this game Zebco Fishing a score. Weren't able to experience the rumble pack, but we'll live. Okay, environment. I will say it like sorry. Ugh. I thought my throat was clear, and it is not. Game Boy Color games are still in that mix of surprising me and how smooth they can operate and the graphics, whatever. Just because like the Game Boy Color games I played as a kid were mostly games that could also run on original Game Boy, so they didn't have that kind of smooth nature to them. I think the only Game Boy Color exclusive I had besides Pokemon Crystal was Croc 2, and I hated that game. But seeing like Metal Gear Solid's Game Boy Color game, and even this game here, like I'm reminded, like, oh yeah, the Game Boy Color is a not hugely significantly more powerful machine than the original Game Boy, but it is some factor more powerful than the original Game Boy hardware. And this game does show that in the moving around and whatnot. Okay, fine, whatever. It is more of a pocket fishing experience than I would say the Black Bass Game Boy Color game we've done. Yes, Black Bass Lure Fishing. And I know there are later Black Bass games on the Game Boy, but that game did the thing of like you're fishing out to a thing, now we go to another screen, and it made no sense what you were looking at. I had to wrap my brain around until I figured it out, but this game really is just the like, nope, it's that top down, it's just the map view, you are fishing on the map spot. Okay. Pros and cons to that. It makes the Game Boy feel aspect of it better. I don't necessarily like that the other Game Boy game we've done so far goes to that other screen, because the screen is small in your hands, and the entire nature of it feels like something less fun, quick, and relaxing. It feels like something you really have to actively pay attention to. Here, with the rumble, if it would have worked for us, has a more relaxing feel to it. So I do enjoy the fact that this was just a map-only fishing experience. Granted, the allure, or the illusion, rather, of you being like, oh, I caught a fish at that specific spot on the map, which is not something we saw in Bassin's Black Bass, because, again, that's just in zones. Didn't really feel like there was a fish on the map. It just felt like, yeah, somewhere in here there are this many fish, and then it'll be on the pond screen when we get there. Right? Or the lake screen, whatever. This illusion is broken because of how blatantly just random the whole thing is. That's not as cool. Like, I should not be able to very quickly come to the conclusion, 20 minutes into playing that game, or however long we played it, that like, oh, you can just cheese this. You can just like cast off the thing, just blah blah blah, cast blah blah blah. Oh, you caught something cool. Doesn't matter what it is. It's all going to be random. You know what I mean? Like, maybe fishing where there wasn't lily pads and reeds was going to yield different fish or no fish. I don't care. For me, the whole thing just felt It felt like grass in a Pokemon route. Where like, this route has these Pokemon on it. Doesn't matter what grass patch you walk through, it's pulling from this random table. And I got the impression that is what this game does for the pond. You're going to get a walleye, you're going to get a bass, you're going to get a crappie, whatever, and it's just random. You want the bass, whatever. Okay. All that aside, environment for Game Boy Color, it's a little bit different than original Game Boy, but for Game Boy Color, because this wasn't exclusive, nothing about it was insane to me, but it was pleasant to look at. It was, I do include like the snappiness of moving the boat around. I think the boat was a little bit too big. I would have made the boat smaller. I'm hesitating between a 3 or a 4 for Game Boy Color. I know I gave Black Bass Lure Fishing a 3, but that was a Game Boy game that they then, like 4 or 5 years later, made a Game Boy Color port of it. But it was the same game. Some graphics got changed, and it wasn't color, but still. Don't really have a baseline there, no pun intended, to really compare this to. I feel like, though, a 3 is fair enough. Actually, I want a copy. I want the purple. Music and sound, very basic. Very, very basic. Let's get up here. I know in Excel you can, like, have a row be, like, omnipresent as you scroll. So I gotta figure that out for next time, to have just this top row stay at the top of the screen, so that I can scroll down and still know we are in music and sound. I mean, I know, but, like, you don't. You know what I mean? You don't know. You haven't stared at this document as long as I have. I think it was fine. It wasn't playing any music. It wasn't doing anything really crazy with the sound effects. In fact, no real music at all is a bit of a bummer. That being said, it did have voice samples, right? And they sounded okay. But the lack of music while you're fishing, I get it. Like, some are trying to go for just the pure, you are there. Of course it's quiet in real life. You don't want to scare the fish away. So you're not going to be blasting music off the radio. you want a fun time, you are, but you're not, music may be a little bit low on the radio, right? You're probably going to be drinking when you're out there on the boat, but still. Other games, like the real fishing games, either had calming music that like didn't feel jarring to that illusion, and in fact enhanced it, or even just like the natural kind of like sounds of waves or anything like that. This game kind of was just quiet, and I didn't get the impression that it was to its benefit. I was like, about it. I don't know. I hesitate to give it a 2 because I did think the voice samples were nice, but that's really the only thing going for it. So yeah, a 2. A 2 indeed. Little lame. Could have done a lot more. Fish variety. Yes, there is a variety of fish. There was at least 3 different types we found. Maybe there was 4. Maybe I thumbed through it too quickly. I did confirm, by the way, not pressing anything when it shows you your fish. You do have like 3 seconds to read. You know what I mean? So unless you have the visual down and you can just see the weight, whatever. There were different lures, but here's the thing. Talked about this earlier. Fish variety isn't just the variety of fish, it's also the variety of ways in which you can catch a fish. I got the impression very quickly, again, it did not fucking matter what lures you were using. That was all just to make you feel nice. Maybe that is affecting the probability odds of what fish you catch. Okay. But my impression didn't fucking matter. You cast it, reel it in, cast it, reel it in. Oh, you got something. Cast it, reel it in, cast it, reel it in. Oh, you got something. Lame. I'm going to give it a 2 and not a 1, only because there is literally more than one type of fish. Literally only because. If there was only just one kind of fish, and it wasn't just randomly giving you crappies and walleyes and all that, then I would have given it a 1. Fishing feel. So, no meters. It's a crosshair you move around, right? And then you press B to activate the crosshair. You move it to wherever you want. You press A. That's where your bobber is visually being there, so that's where your line is. You yank with B. You reel with A. Very bare bones. Like, very bare bones. The rumble saves it from a 1. Because that's a gimmick, and that is actually trying to simulate the tug on a line. I get it. I didn't get to experience it, so I'm not going to necessarily... I'm just going to kind of leave that as a floating neutral for right now. I should actually see how much this game costs on eBay. I bet this type of cartridge, generally speaking, more expensive than a random-ass fishing game that no one cares about. Just because of the nature of Nintendo collecting. People love pricing up the gimmicks. Gimmick games cost a lot. Try buying Pokemon Box for the GameCube. It's not even a game. They want hundreds of dollars. Yeah, and so like whether or not you even hook the fish at all is unclear. I've tried so many different variations of A and B when it said bite, in a combination with times waiting to do that and the depth, right? Because there was what I assumed to be a depth meter that was in the bottom right, just offset from the bottom right, where like, yep, as you waited, the thing would slowly sink down. And there was areas where fish seemed to not bite anymore towards the bottom. Cool. Okay. Again, that's fish variety, but it didn't really freaking seem to matter. The illusion was broken, which is bad. It just felt kind of crappy. No pun intended there. I'm going to give it a 2. The rumble is ironically, the one thing I couldn't experience is the one thing that's saving it from being a 1. Honest to God. Because, like, I'm imagining what it's like, and even if the most basic aspect of it, in and of itself, is a game design decision. because there isn't a oh, do it flashing in the middle of the screen. The bobber does like dip, so to speak, under the water a little bit, like half the pixels disappear as it moves down. So there's that subtlety to it, and they do have the like backup. The word bite appears if for whatever reason you didn't put a battery in the cartridge to activate the rumble motor. But even then, just that decision to be like, no, we want you to feel it, feel the actual rumble to know when there's a bite, changed up how they designed that encounter. And so yeah, even that I could tell. You know what I mean? So I give it a 2. 2 out of 5. These are out of 5, by the way. Yikes. So our total is a 9. 9 out of 20 there, which gives this game a D rating. Okay. We have 2 more games on the list of today to go through. One is on the PlayStation, and the other is on the Wii. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to use the restroom. I'm going to blow my nose. Again, still sick. I apologize. And I'll be right back. Give me 3 to 5 minutes, and I will return. And also, while you're waiting, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Welcome once again to Gone Video Game Fishin'. Blah, blah, blah. 2 more titles on the list here to go through. Championship Bass is next for the PlayStation. Came out in 2000, so a late PlayStation title. There have been a lot of there's a lot of fishing games on the PS1 and the PS2, and so by 2000, there's already been a shit ton on this platform. We've seen the highs and the lows of PS1 fishing. On the lows, we have Action Bass, made by who again? Yeah, which this is what surprises me because their name pops up in games that seem like they would have actually done well. Extremely bare bones, extremely underutilizing the power of the platform and what 3D can do and whatnot. And on the highs, Bass Landing is like, what if Action Bass was 20 times better? It's a neat game. It's got a lot of charm. It's got a lot of ways to do the casting and whatnot, and you are driving a boat around. And I have a real soft spot for the Real Fishing games. Again, Real Fishing 2 here. I have this in the copy, as well as Real Fishing 3, and I have a copy of Real Fishing 1 arriving in the mail at some point. So, that being said, let's see, was there any other PS1 titles that we did? No, so far, 2 Real Fishings and then 2 non-Real Fishing games. Okay. Let's move on and do Championship Bass for PlayStation 1. Let me get this set up here. Then that should work. That should work. Well, not popping up. This was working before.
EA Sports.
You can hear it. But I am not. Close. Saving. Now if I do this, okay, yeah, so that opens. Try this again. No. Very strange. Move that off there and move it back on. Black screen, which should actually be good.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Okay, okay. Let me get the water reflection correct. Oh no, is what happened what I think happened? I'm gonna have to fix this before we continue. Yeah, damn it. I gotta lower this all the way to the bottom. We're gonna redo this entire opening here, because I'm not paying attention. I want to see this in all its glory. I gotta slowly.
EA Sports Championship Bass.
Can I say something that's, I would say, controversial? Can I say something controversial? I do not like the EA Sports announcement voice. Never have. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's see this for real. Some things on the tech side here are a little fly by the seat of my pants. I did all of this prep stuff ahead of time, make sure it all works, and
EA Sports.
oh, the EA part, the A in the EA is very dated. I don't remember seeing a version of that like that. It is in the game, that's right. Very typical of this era to have intro movies like this. I appreciate the hell out of them. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Not the best I've seen, but I it's certainly up there. This screen's good too. PlayStation 1 doesn't have a Z buffer, blah 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 blah. You see vertices fighting their position over and over when they move. And this intro here, the screen really showed that as it was tilting. Oh, is it not recognized in my controller? I might need to run a demonstration here. Alright, hold on. Where is... No, not toggle analog. Settings. No. Controller. Yeah, this should work. Okay, there we go.
EA Sports.
There we go.
Championship back.
Password. So this didn't save to a memory card? Really? Why not?
Enter your name.
Okay.
Make a selection.
What are our options?
Options.
Okay.
Select an angler.
They both have scrunched up faces. I will say though, decently textured. You know, for what they are. I wish I could rotate. Be the lady this time.
Options.
Why can't that option
Audio
be...
controls.
Okay. That voice. Okay, okay. Okay.
Options. Vibration off. Vibration on.
Cool.
Make a selection. Fishing trip.
Alright. Let's fish.
Enjoy a day out on the Bass Lake.
Oh, okay, I guess I'll continue the sentence. With complete control over location, seasoned weather, and all other settings.
Lake of the Pines. Clear Lake. Valley Reservoir.
Oh, we don't get to...
Lake of the Pines.
Let's do Lake of the Pines.
Fishing conditions.
Cool, so I imagine the career mode has more of just, like, set, like, levels, so to speak, right? But this is just like, hey, you do what you want. I don't want it to be rainy. Honey. Yeah, that's fine. Clear, please. I'm loving all the options here. Fishing pressure. What does that mean? Is that like their difficulty to catch? Oh, I
Lake
hit
of the Pines.
back.
Fishing conditions.
Oh, it randomized. Wow, they have every month here. Kind of crazy. Okay. This game is also on Windows, so Again, for some of these that are on multi-platform, if the platform is a crazy difference like that, I'll check out at some point. Okay. Oh, okay. So X just goes to fishing. Triangle gets you back to the boat. R2, okay, is showing you what's underneath. I like that. L2 hides the HUD. L and R, L1, R1 don't seem to do anything. So I'm just driving with up. So let's see if we can find some fish. Analog sticks. Yeah, there's some range to that. Let's get up close to this dock over here. It tends to be a good spot. Yeah, okay. Oh, perfect. Let's try here. Okay. Huh. So it's still staying picture in picture.
Strike.
Okay. Is that good? Yes. All right. Might want to
Small fish.
have the rod all the way down like that. A little weird. Oh, I just hit release. Okay, let's go. If I back up, will that fish be gone? So this is in this era of fishing games. This does remind me of Bassmasters 2000. It's a very similar idea here. I'm gonna drive over and then back around. Yeah, they like being around the docks. Or I do like hey, we made the entire lake or pond or wherever you're fishing. We made this body of water, and we are actually simulating the draw distance on the fish is a little bit funny. Back up a little bit more, he disappears. But that's good. Square and okay, circle. Outfit. Oh, it's... Oh, these are like presets for your entire kit. Like, why would I change my character's clothes now? Does it really matter? But it's more than just the lure, it's also like your line weight and all that. Okay. Music's nice too.
Try again.
Yeah, I cast that straight into the rock wall.
Try again.
Okay, I know. This should be good.
Great cast.
Thanks. Now this multi-viewport thing they got going on here, killing the frame rate. I can only imagine on actual hardware how kind of poor the responsiveness would be. Like, I'm a wired connection right now, so it's not like there's a Bluetooth issue here, but... I'm going to press the button and start to hold it down. You can see. I want you to watch. Like, that's the delay. On that, at least. Okay, yep. So you can move around while you're in this view. Select menu.
Make a selection.
No, I'm good. Weird. Okay. Weird that it has to load like that. At the very least, it put me back where we were. Yeah, I mean, you want that underwater camera on for here just because you want to be able to cast it to the fish, right? But, like, the motions and all that are slow. I don't really have control over the camera here. Up is to yank up. Down is to let it down a little bit. And yeah, just the delay on, like, I press X, start to hold X to start to reel, and it's like a second and a half before there's a response. There we go. Ah, okay, that was quick. Where is this guy? Okay. I like the marker on the meter there to tell you this is, hey, where you selected as your spot. But here I would love to be able to move the camera. Yeah, the delay in the reeling is insane. Like messing up my ability to react. I can't show me the fish. Oh. Yeah, if I jerk the rod. Oh. Must be close. That was way too far. I want to drive around, go to another area here. I feel like I'm already kind of seeing all I need to see. Oh, there we go. Yep, get it closer. Okay, there was a line tension sound there. Yep. It is. There we go. It's a scrunched up face.
It's a little one.
Yeah, and I'm keeping it. Alright, let's drive around. Read the yellow dot. Yeah, we're the yellow dot. Now this boat I would actually not mind to go faster. The Game Boy Color boat went way too fast. This is a beautiful area. Oh. Alright, let's go for this guy, and I think I've then seen all I need to see. How they're doing the reflections is interesting. It is that doubled geometry. which might be why the frame rate is as low as it is. And I'm sure on actual hardware, it's real bad. I don't know that for a fact. This would be a game I'd have to try out that way. And the whole second viewport thing we have going on at the bottom there. Okay, there we go.
He's off.
Oh, he's off. I think she's broken in half. Okay, she's fine there. Well, look at the way the polygon snapped. Look at it. Her arm is through her body. Her body only goes to halfway up to like her hips, which then are also distorted to her legs. But then here's fine. I think we've seen all we need to see. I think we've seen all we need to see. Okay. Cool. Why not? Championship Bass. By EA Seattle there. From at least what I could gather doing the quick research. Championship Bass. For the Sony PlayStation. Released in the year of our Lord 2000 by EA Sports. It is in the game. Okay, environment. For PlayStation 1, yes, the frame rate is an issue, and yes, that does hinder its ability to achieve its effect that it has going on. The, like, continuous kind of open lake or pond, whatever experience is there, is cool. It's just being hampered by, honest to God, I feel like their decision to do the reflection on the water. If the water was opaque looking, granted, I did hit clear water. Maybe if I hit muddy water, it would have been different. But still, not quite there. Then again, I'm giving it a 4 because on PlayStation 1, that isn't necessarily a guarantee. We've seen worse like Action Bass, where you don't have that kind of freedom because it isn't rendered like that fully. They did really try their best to simulate the entire above and underwater areas. Granted, they are separate, right? The reason why it's reflecting the geometry above by having it underneath is because you're not literally over the fish. And when we're in that viewport of underwater and you look and you see the surface, it's opaque, right? The water from underneath, the surface of the water from underneath is opaque because there isn't anything above there. It isn't quite like that. Bassmasters 2000 on the 64 did accomplish that. But that was also the 64. A little bit more capable hardware going on there. Again, 4 though, great. Fantastic for that. Music and sound, really, really nice. For PS1, trying to think, there was multiple music options there. It was the kind I kind of like. Soft, relaxing. At least for that just fishing trip experience. Maybe that your career mode has more action-y music in timed tournament areas, I digress. Sounds were good. Honestly, all of that was good. Nothing really was like, holy shit to me. But at the same time, yeah, that was solid. So I'm going to give it another 4. I want it to be a green 4. Fish variety. So this is all about bass. Again, championship bass. There was different loadouts that we could have done. But generally speaking, name of the game is you find the fish. You go up to the fish. Didn't really seem to get scared away by the boat. But again, that's not necessarily abnormal for games of this era, right? Yeah, just the different loadouts. I mean, I really do wish you could control the camera, but that's not quite in fish variety there. I wouldn't say it was anything crazy. And we are getting to the point now where, Granted, you know, we didn't go to multiple different fishing holes or anything like that. If there are other types of fish, maybe. But again, name of the game is getting bass here, so that's really the only fish that matters. Again, that binary of bass and not bass. You know what I mean? It's nothing to really hold against it, but it's very simple in that nature. I have a little thing there because I copied that. It's annoying. I'm going to give it a 3. Nothing insane. Nothing insane. Fishing feel. So here's where it kind of disappoints. The delay. The 1.5-second delay. And I showed that on the screen there. The 1.5-second delay for reeling and releasing the reeling is detriment to this entire experience. Like, yes, leaning left and right, you know, that seemed to be responsive enough, was a little sluggish feeling, but it was there. No camera control is a real bummer. 2000, the analog controller, the DualShock controller, those were out. Would have loved to be able to turn the camera around so I can see, am I reeling in the path of the fish? Where is the freaking fish? Where is it? You know what I mean? A bummer. Yeah, I cannot in good conscience give it a 3 because of how sluggish that reeling was. The entire experience there was subpar. So, strange score to give. It looks like it's getting a 13 here, which will mark us a C. Championship Bass by EA. Environment of 4. Music and sound of 4. Fish variety of 3. Fishing feel of 2. A bummer, to say the least. When plugging my controller here, setting it aside, we have one final game on the list to play today. This one has been connected the entire time. We're getting on the Wii. We boot this up. We're going to be doing hooked reel fishing for the Nintendo Wii. And if you liked the craziness that I'm doing here, if you like this entire experiment of reviewing every single fishing game, please give the channel a subscribe. Well, that's not doing it right. There we go. There we go. Yes. This is licensed by Nintendo. This, a Wii game in 16:9. The previous Wii game we did, Fishing Master, was 4:3.
Hooked! Real motion fishing.
Okay. Pointer controls for Wii games for this series going forward. I keep forgetting to buy the type of sensor bar that people say works really well with Dolphin. I've also done the thing where last time where I plugged in my Wii and plugged in the sensor bar and stuck it up where I could do it.
Hooked! Real motion fishing.
And I wasn't recognizing it in that game, so I didn't bother to do it for this game. But I booted it up just to make sure I didn't need to do it, and I don't think I needed to do it, so I think we can just
Please
menu
set up your character.
correctly. Huh, do we want to be... What does this guy look like? She looks like a Japanese designed character. He looks like a Western designed character. Weird. This actually does, I guess, matter in theory to how you're holding the Wii remote, right?
Please enter your name.
Yes. Show me the tutorial. Use a control pad. Please determine the direction to cast the fishing line. There are 4 ways of casting your rod: overhead casting, side, backhand, and pitch casting. Pitch is down. Overhead, side, backhand, pitch. Okay. I'm not controlling that, by the way. To perform an overhead cast, raise your Wii remote over your head. Right. I think we're going to be tutorializing.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
It didn't look right, but it still worked. Uh-huh. Like, he doesn't look... Oh, I have to twist. Okay. That's not what the guy in the little window is doing. He's holding it flat. He isn't twisting.
Good.
Nor would I twist in real life. Strange. God, man, I freaking hit this desk. Yep, that's what we're doing. Okay. I will probably only ever do this. Bass Landing had all these different, like,
Good.
skips and whatnot. And that's neat, but I don't ever want to do that. Alright, how do you thumb the line? Oh, it's just the A button. Where your thumb is going. Right. Cut your... Yep. Oh, they didn't want to do that. Let's actually try this now.
Select mode.
There is no, like, tutorial on, reeling, catching the thing. It's just about the motion. I don't know. Waterfall. Rocks. Waterfall. Sounds nice. Here we'll have the guide on. Why not? We have weather, time of day, time of year options.
Waterfall.
Okay.
Select casting point.
Can I drive? There's very clearly a map. If I hold Z, he sits down. Okay, and then I can move around. Interesting. Just trying to say that, like, near here is good. Huh. Alright.
Nice.
Some shaders that needed to be rendered. Little fish, but I don't think those are catchable fish. Okay, B reel's slow, A reel's fast. I can also do this. Just generally shaking this thing. And then it's just like an actuator or whatever the actual term is. I see. You can, no, they don't let you get up close. Okay, let's go for those lily pads. Okay, I thumbed the line there. Look at me. Oh, okay. doing the fishing action cam. Okay, that was very quick.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, it's not the size that matters. How you cook it. Let's try... Ugh. I thumbed it there at the end. That was very quick. It did the action cam, which I like, where it's like, hey, you got close to a fish. Let's lock the camera. So you actually see both at once. C doesn't seem to do anything. 1 and 2 don't. Okay, so minus or select spools you back in all the way. Okay. Again, would love to see, like, if they're going through the effort. Okay.
Hit. Down. Right.
Way too frantic there.
That's a big one.
Nice. Thanks. They're going through the effort of rendering the underwater area. So at least at that point, then you might as well let me look around. You know what I mean?
Excellent.
Get all the way in here. I feel like fish would actually hate being underneath. Or water is just pushing you down. So this is probably a terrible spot to, Ow. Oh, never mind. Okay, very funny. A and shaking is fast. Is faster than just A on its own. Try this over here.
Excellent. Hit.
Okay.
It's right. Down. Up left. Stand your rod. Down. Line break. Select lure.
Also, why is it playing like freaking mid-2000s WWF music there?
Good.
Very funny. I need to back up a bit. The whole like, oh, turn left, right, up, down, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't even know where the baseline is. They do let you yank.
Hit.
Okay.
Watch your line tension. Down. Stand your rod. Be careful of the tension. Left. Right. Right. Right.
I am!
Right. Left.
Yikes. That is, that's yikes. A lot more fish in there.
Nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Because he missed. He's bored. Some fishing games have done that too, and I'm not a fan.
Nice. Hit!
Okay.
Down! Line break.
I was pointing that motherfucker down.
Select lure.
Appeal color.
Very good.
They're going to the same spots no matter what. Okay, here we go.
Come on!
Yeah, I'm saying that too.
60 minutes left.
Oh, damn. Till 10 a.m.? That's how long I get? Alright, we might as well see one session through, I guess. Because I was just going to say one more fish and we're done. Come on, they were biting before. Whatever, let's drive somewhere else. Also, you're not, like, driving the boat for real. It's the foot motor.
30 minutes left.
Probably a terrible spot, but let's go.
Nice.
This game does have a sequel called Hooked Again,
Excellent.
which I enjoy. It's not Hooked 2, right?
10 minutes left.
10? Oh, weeds. Or, well, not really. Okay. Let's see what happens when we get to the end here. Set this down.
Time is up. Results.
3 fish. Okay. Who records your heaviest fish? Oh, that was it. There was no, like, oh, I see. No time limit. I understand. I understand. Okay. Well, you know what? Cool, I suppose. That was Hooked. Real motion fishing. In widescreen. On your Nintendo Wii. Okay. Alright. Oops. Hooked with an exclamation mark. You gotta get it right. Real motion fishing for the Nintendo Wii by Sims. They were attached to the one of these games. They also did the other Wii one, right? No, that was Hudson. What did Sims work on? Sims worked on a few things. We saw their names pop up as like a support studio or whatever. Okay. Environment, it was very PS2 like. I mean, a Wii is, you know, GameCube plus, right? So it's within that metric there. Seemed nice. Didn't let you get right up close to the edges with the boat. That's a little bit disappointing. The underwater seemed barren. But again, what are you to expect in real life? If they're not showing vegetable plant life, you know what I mean? No. If it was fine, I'm gonna just give it a 3. Just gonna give it a 3. Nothing about it was crazy. Music and sound, decent. It really went crazy when you hooked a fish. Really crazy. Maybe that's why, you know, they're trying to emphasize the exclamation part about hooked in that title there. Yeah, man, I don't know, like, it's tough when we get into the Wii era when it comes to music and sound, because at this point, there really is no excuse to not do the most craziest soundscapes. You know, all the hardware there is capable of all of that. Since PlayStation 1, Red Book Audio, we're good, right? You have the storage space to put recorded tracks on, right? By the time we get to the Wii, you know, several gigabytes are on that disc. You have the space for it. So then it's no longer like, hey, what's the system generally capable of, and did they go beyond, or did they try to push beyond, or did they underhand it? And it's more of just like, relatively to the peers on the system, on the hardware, does it stand out? I would say no. But it's tough. Again, it's tough. And so then, in addition to that, it's also like, oh, did any music tracks really stand out to me? Like, oh shit. Or did the audio design on the actions of reeling and all that sound more than bog standard? They sounded bog standard to me. I don't know, man. A 3 seems apt. A fish variety. A couple different sizes of bass. Okay. I believe the Japanese title of this game has bass in it, so it is bass focused. Was fine. The different ways to cast really feel like they're only there. Well, that's in fishing feel. But as far as like variety on how you catch a fish, they don't seem to matter about that at all. I'm just. Do I give it a 3 or a 2? Do I give it a 3 or a 2? That's a big question. Do I give it a 3 or a 2? Fish variety. Some other ponds might have other types of fish, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2. Little underwhelming. I mean, Fishing Master, I gave that a 4. There was a lot going on in that game. A lot going on. That game actually, even though like I liked the look of this game more, Fishing Master, despite the name implying maybe more of a like mature thing, is a very like cartoony Japanese game. And there's a lot to kind of like do and fish for and all that, and I liked that. So, relatively speaking, hooked real motion fishing, little lackluster on the fish variety. Now, fishing feel. Wii game, motion game. It's in the title, real motion. How was it? Well, yes. I mean, I'm gonna unplug the nunchuck from the controller. I'm using the Skyward Sword Wii remote. The only good thing to come out of that video game It's a bad Zelda game. The worst Zelda game. I did not play the Switch version. Maybe I will one day. This is the only good thing to come out of that Wii release, regardless. Yes, overhand, sure. Underhand, I don't know why you would ever do that. Because you can thumb the line to make it stop early. The left and right, I can see that in environments where, like, you need to hook it around a thing. Maybe, but really all that's there is to, like, give the illusion that, yes, you are holding the fishing rod. This alone is enough, though, for me, personally. I don't need to do... Also, like, in the tutorial, it showed the guy, like, holding the Wii Remote level and doing this, which is what you would do in real life. But the game only responded to tilting, right? Because 2007, no gyroscope in the Wii Remotes. It is accelerators. So it's really only knowing about tilting. So really, you kind of have to tilt it in order to tell it for real that you are actually turning. Okay, fair enough. Reeling in, yeah, you have a slow and a fast reel. There is, you know, the quick, get me out of this screen button, whatever. Okay, fine. Quick reel in. You can also shake the fuck out of the nunchuck. You can also hold A to reel fast and then shake this to make it go a little bit faster, which is funny. I guess that's implying that the top speed with shaking the nunchuck is faster, maybe. But then once you hook the damn thing, again, in the title, hooked, an exclamation point. It's a barrage of, because, like, this is an action-y fishing game. They are going for not the slow relaxing, they're going for the, fuck yeah, fight this thing. And they're giving you the prompts, left, right, up, down. And your silhouette rod there is going warm and cold based on tension, I imagine. To simulate, you know, when the fish is going to break and get away. But that was so fucking chaotic, I had no idea if I was doing it correctly or not. The 3 fish I caught, was I just freaking lucky? I feel like I was just lucky. I don't know. I feel like I was just lucky. Don't feel like I was doing all that well. Compared to Fishing Master, which I gave to a 3, that one did have that was more, I would almost say mini-game-like, but it felt more apt to the control scheme of the shaking the Wii Remote. So many games on this platform within its first couple of years were just shake, shake, shake. Yes, they're like, oh yes, hold it this way and then do it, but really it's just the timing on you shake and which ways the accelerometers are facing. That's it, right? That is it. Fishing Master, compared to hooked real motion fishing is pretending that it is more than the simplicity of what this is. Fishing Master didn't pretend, really. It was just like, shake it to the left, cool. Shake it to the right, cool. You did it. It wasn't trying to really simulate stuff. Because when you get into that simulation aspect with this motion controller, you just see right through it. You just see right through it. And yeah, it's 2026. It is not 2007. It is 19 years later. But still, I see right through it instantly. Even if I were to go back in time and give this to myself in 2007, which is actually when I got the Wii. It was like June 2007 for me. Which is still pretty early. I got lucky. Because they were still selling out at that time. Yeah, man, I feel like if I gave this game to myself back in the day, I would just get frustrated. I feel like I would get frustrated. I feel like I would have respected and liked Fishing Master more as a video game. It felt like I would have actually had, like, control over what was going on. Yeah, I'm giving this a 2, man. I'm giving this a 2. That's sad. That's sad. But I'm giving it a 2. Makes our score a D. Wow. Okay. Some low balls today. Some low ranks. We didn't pass C. Championship Bass, honest to God, if it didn't have that sluggishness on the reeling, on that input delay was insane on just that one aspect. I feel like is down to the fact that they're trying to render too much. If it wasn't like that, this would have been in the B range. Literally, it was 1 point off. Sad. No other way to put it. Sad. So yeah, that was this batch of 4 titles. There will be another 4 titles. Like I said, generally speaking, one of these streams a month. However, this stream was supposed to be a couple days ago when it was still February. There is one going to happen on a Saturday this month. I will schedule it out soon. We'll have another 4 titles. One of them will be a PC title. It'll be the sequel to Trophy Bass. I got it up and running. Couldn't have it ready for today, but have it be ready for next time. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel, especially if you appreciate this kind of deep dive I'm doing into fishing games. Trying to really, like, touch them all, so to speak. It'll be fun and interesting as we go on, because I feel like if I look at my raw list here, which I'm not showing you guys, roughly 170 titles I have documented so far as games to play. So far. There are plenty of PC titles that I am unawares of that I will add to. So we're in the long haul for this. We are in the long haul. That is for certain. So, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you at the watering hole.